Hey, welcome to another week, ATI Pro Media. We're live at 9, powered by Advanced Trading. Welcome to the show. We got another interesting week ahead of us. But first, I invite you to tell us what's going on in your world. Leave us a message, post a comment, hit the like and subscribe button. YouTube influencers, they're kicking butt in the world, even Mike Tyson's butt, apparently. But we got an interesting week ahead of us here. These options expire on Friday. That'll be a key highlight here this week. We got the cattle on feed report at the end of the week. It's the last full week of trading ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. So plenty of outside market noise. Markets are moving, but they just feel like they're going nowhere for now. We'll see how long that lasts. But let's check in on your markets, tell you where they're at right now. We got a bid on the wheat side of things today, but beast corn up 2.25 cents, 426 and a quarter. Beans are up, holding on. Jan beans at that 1001, up 2.5, grabbing back onto that $10 handle. Chicago wheat's up 10, KC wheat's up 14 to 15 cents. Over at your feeder cattle market, feeders a little bit on the back months. April, May, they're up 70 to 80 points, while your front months are only up 10. Looking at live cattle, they're up a buck. That's good to see. Hogs up 75 points. Over crude up $1.15. Diesel up 5 cents. Nat gas up 6. Your equities are mixed over there. The Dow's down 70. The S&P's flat, and the Nasdaq's up 54 points. A lot going on in these markets. A little dicey. We'll see what happens here this week. Kind of jockeying around. It's the second week after election week. So we'll see where we go from here. But let's run through some headlines here. We had a flash sale this morning. Great to see these come through. 30,000 metric tons of bean oil to India, some beans to Mexico, and some bean meal to the Philippines. So it's always good to see these export flashes every morning. Demand, it's that time of the season. Looking over at let's look at I got some graphics loaded up. We'll talk COT each week on Friday. We get a look at the positions of managed money, and boy, we're starting to build a long position in the corn market. I'm going to pull this corn graphic up. Look at that long position there that we are building on the fund side for corn. Funds are buying the corn market for whatever reason. Ethanol, export demand, maybe that's encouraging the buying, but it's good to see them in your markets. Always got to be cautious. They can push this thing either way. They can continue to add to those longs, or they could flip and turn sellers real quick in a hurry. Looking over at the cattle longs, this is a combination of feeder cattle and live cattle. They've also got a appetite to own cattle in this market, risk to the downside and running for the exits whenever they're long on your cattle market. But we can't say the same thing about wheat here. They've been selling wheat, but not today with the board up 14 cents. Looks like they're maybe covering some stuff today, turnaround here. But what do we got next? South America weather. Going to talk about that real quick. Bean plantings wrapping up down there. It's really the weather in South America is non-threatening right now. They're starting to see some chatter about, harvest delays, potential harvest delays. Will that impact, safrinha corn crop going in the ground, which is a big part of the South America corn picture, is that safrinha crop that gets planted in January, February timeframe. So that's non-threatening weather in South America. What else are we going to dive into? Next headline here I got is December options coming off the books on Friday. There's a lot of open interest at the 420 Dees corn strike. Looking at last week, we had a 433 to 417 trading range. And where are we at today right now? 426. Boy, keep an eye on those numbers. If we pop outside of that range of 433 or on the bottom side to 417, that might get the trade excited. But boy, howdy, there's a lot of open interest at the 420 strike. Might be gravity to just kind of hang in there at that level until we get into next week's trading. But I woke up this morning to some beautiful sound of rain in the plains. And that's a good thing for us out here. We're glad to see some rain. The moisture, it's a good thing, a big thing this time of year, goes a long ways. Here's a snapshot of the current radar. Good to see rains across, hitting most of Missouri into Nebraska. Wish they drifted a little further west over here, but good to see green on that screen on the radar here overnight. Half inch to inch and a half type totals on a broad swath. When we look at winter wheat in drought. That was a headline a couple weeks ago, was worst wheat ratings across the country before these rains. And we're going to see that turnaround and change here going forward, I believe, as that radar is relieving a bunch of this winter wheat production, might be causing that feeder cattle index to get a bid to it as well, as there's some grazing opportunities out there for feeders, and people got to put them out on pasture, put them out on grass, and get them to graze. So speaking of that, cattle, we got a cattle on feed report Friday, and trade's gonna be looking potentially for record feed numbers, record number on feed for the month of November 1. The climbing feeder cattle index has been supporting this market. Futures had a good day on Friday. They're off to a good start here today, but the choice cutout is under some seasonal downside pressure. The chuck, the round, they're adding a lot of pressure on that cutout, testing the $3 level. We'll see what the packer wants to do, how aggressive they want to be. But on the feeder side of things, we've got a bid under the market, and it's a good spot to be. But that's kind of, I'm going to talk a little bit about premium here today. What do we have for premium? Over the weekend, we had a audio-only little podcast with Andrew McCrae. Good episode there on premium. Then we also had, Tommy was on the Cow Guy talking about Make America Healthy Again, RFK, all these appointments, these cabinet level appointments, they're big things here that will continue. The market's going to digest how that impacts your markets going forward. A lot of uncertainty out there, but I'm watching that DEES options expiration here this week. And I don't know, I'm going to get out of here and get to work. Got a big week ahead of us. The full gang will be back for you tomorrow. Appreciate you joining us today, live at 9. And I'm going to get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.